It's a cheating scandal that has rocked Hollywood. The victim, one of America's leading ladies in what should have been her year. The culprit, the motorcycle man she fell for despite his bad boy image. So why would he betray his wife? Vicki Mabry had the chance to ask him in a Nightline exclusive, the Jesse James interview.
Sandra Bullock's marriage nightmare.
The shocking headline, Sandra's husband caught cheating.
It splashed across the headlines.
Blindsided by an affair?
And dominated the airwaves.
Who was the reported tattoo-covered other woman?
Actress Sandra Bullock's devastating heartbreak.
How could Jesse James have possibly cheated on America's sweetheart?
At the hands of her husband, Jesse James. Right at the moment of her greatest triumph.
I love you so much, and you're really hot.
America's sweetheart faced with the ultimate betrayal.
Is it true you cheated on Sandra?
As the scandal erupted, James maintained his silence.
Jesse James is going to become the most hated man in America.
Until now. The headlines say, most hated man in America.
I think it's the most hated man in the world now. I took a pretty amazing life and amazing success and marriage and everything and kind of, threw it away by my own hand, so.
From the very beginning, they seemed like an odd couple. Sandra Bullock, Miss Congeniality herself.
Never thought anything like this would ever happen to me.
Dating Jesse James, then host of Monster Garage.
We could get tricked, but we can't out-trick ourselves.
Whom the tabloids labeled her heavily tattooed biker boyfriend. So many people said that you and Sandra Bullock were a mismatch. Were they right?
I don't think so. I think the reality of it is we probably have way more in common than people realize.
Like what?
I think we're just both driven and both focused, on our careers.
They met when Bullock's godson asked her to get him into James's West Coast Choppers, where he builds custom motorcycles that sell for up to $300,000.
I assumed that she was a bitch and some Hollywood snob and didn't really give it two thoughts. And then I talked to her for a couple minutes and it was like getting hit in the head with a brick. Here's a woman that I had assumptions about and she couldn't be farther from that. She was intelligent and, it was like, wow, this is that's perfect to me, so.
When I interviewed him 6 years ago for 60 Minutes 2, pictures of the two of them together had just surfaced, but he didn't want to talk about that.
I'm not talking about her.
But soon it was out in the open. The bad boy and the girl next door were an item. How'd you start to woo her?
I asked her out and she said no. And so, typical me, I'm not going to really take no for an answer. And
she said you sent a lot of emails and you were much more thoughtful than she imagined.
It was a real courtship.
For 5 years they avoided the limelight, except when the red carpet beckoned. At home in California and Texas, she was a much-loved stepmother to James's 3 children from his 2 previous marriages, Chandler, Jesse Jr., and Sonny. How'd you two make this marriage work?
Just live a normal life, there is no limelight when it's her and I trying to figure out who's going to take the kids to school and who's going to pick them up and what we're going to have for dinner and that type of stuff, it was normal.
Why'd you do it?
By 2009, Bullock was back at work in Atlanta, starring in the film The Blind Side.
Tony here's your quarterback, all right? You protect his blind side. When you look at him, you think of me, how you have my back, how you have his, okay?
But back at home, her husband was living a double life. You cheated on your wife?
Yep.
When the movie opened, it was Sandra Bullock's moment.
And the actor goes to Sandra Bullock.
In a sweep, she took home a SAG Award, a Golden Globe, and memorably, her very first Oscar for Best Actress.
We are all deserving of love. So to that trailblazer who allowed me to have that and this, I thank you so much for this opportunity.
Was it in the back of your mind, I'm going to get caught? Did you know it was about to crumble?
I don't think it was just at award shows. I think it was every day in life.
Less than 2 weeks after her triumphant night at the Oscars, her world was shattered. A woman named Michelle Bombshell McGee sold a story to In Touch magazine claiming she had an 11-month affair with James while Bullock was away filming. James says he sat his wife down and confessed. What'd you tell her?
I just told her basically everything, that I had affairs outside of our marriage.
Did she have any idea any of this was going on, or did this hit her like a ton of bricks?
I think she's had her suspicions, in the past, but, I lied my way out of it. I lied to everyone about everything, even to myself,
We've had 5 women come forward now. Did you have affairs with all of them?
I wouldn't believe everything you read in tabloids, I was unfaithful to my wife, and I'm not going to put any kind of count to it. And just the fact that, I took a perfect marriage and a perfect wife and perfect life and stepmother and threw it away because of my actions, it doesn't matter. It could have been a million. It doesn't, bad is bad no matter what it is.
To my husband, there's no surprise that my work got better when I met you, because I never knew what it felt like for someone to have my back.
This was a woman who stood on stage in front of millions of people and said that. She loved you. Why would you hurt her?
I never, in a million years, the last person I would ever want to hurt or harm is her or the kids. But the most hurt she's ever been caused is by the person that wanted to protect her. So it's terrible, and she's going to be hurt for a long time. I don't know, it's hard for me to talk about a little bit because, I still really love her and care about her.
And that's the thing. That's the million-dollar question. You had the perfect life. You had the perfect wife. Why did you throw it away?
I don't know, during the midst of all of it, and when I was doing it, one, I knew it was horrible. It made me feel horrible. And 2, I knew I would get caught eventually, and I think I wanted to get caught. It was me trying to self-sabotage my life.
So you're saying this didn't start because you were bored or because Sandra was away on a shoot, or?
No, not at all.
Or because you didn't love her or you weren't happy in the marriage?
Everything that happened in our marriage and everything that I said and every good moment for her and for me and for the kids, none of it was bullshit. It was all real. I'm doing it because, I've basically never felt good enough for anyone.
Under the weight of relentless public scrutiny, he recognized he needed help. But to get it, he would have to confront his deepest secrets.